let's get to it. Let's see if Kraven the Hunter is that bad. I just got out of the theater seeing it, and it's interesting because this is a movie that has some very weird expectations. When I first heard that they were gonna make this movie, I was like, whatever. Why? Then when they announced at CinemaCon last year that there was gonna be an R-rated movie starring with the Rhino in it, I was like, oh, this could be interesting. Then when I saw the first trailer, I was kinda into it. Though the Kraven thing about his origin superpowers was odd. When the movie got delayed, I was kinda sad a little bit. And then when the second trailer dropped, I was kind of more optimistic of the movie, and I had wanted some hope for this movie. And when when outlets keep popping up like weeks before the movie came out about how the GSA Shender is saying, "Watch this movie, it's good," and how he's gonna wants to make a sequel. While it's been announced that the SSU is done, I was like, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And then when the reviews pop out and it has a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was like, what? I was expecting like a maybe like a 40 or 50, hell, maybe in the 30. I didn't expect to be 14 but that's the point where I was like, okay, I'm curious to know how bad this movie's going to be. And I didn't hate it, but it was not the greatest movie of the year at all. Thankfully, it's not Howard the Duck bad and Four Stick bad or Madam Web bad, but it's still not the greatest at all. It is a kind of a mid at worst. I'll say this. This movie was probably one of the most interesting theater experiences because my theater was laughing, was having a decent time with the movie, especially when the action sequences were popping in, which are the best parts of the movie. Easily, they are awesome, they're bloody, they're intense, and they have some good shots in it, thankfully, compared to Morbius, and no action was in Madam Web whatsoever, um, and it's, especially considering this movie is rated R, it makes the action much better. This movie would have been more forgettable if it was PG-13, but the R-rated kind of saves it, especially in the first opening. I thought that was a in the prison. I thought that was a good way to start the movie. And I thought I did laugh a couple times, and so did the theater. And when some because the movie adds some humor in this, mainly in the second act. Which is okay. You don't want I think taking your movie way too seriously is not that good. But I thought when the humor started, it did make me laugh. Though I feel a little odd because I feel like sometimes while the movie wants to be a serious and gritty movie, it kind of sometimes is a campy and goofy action movie. Um, and I thought the performances were alright. I thought Aaron Taylor Johnson was a good casting for Kraven. He looks the part. Though his performance is alright. Probably because one, he doesn't have the Russian accent, which I don't know if it was because he couldn't do a Russian accent or they feel like he tried one but they didn't understand it. But it feels weird considering Russell Crowe has one and he's supposed to be his father. And it feels weird. But to be fair, Russell Crowe's performance in this sometimes can be a little laughable and hard to understand it. Especially considering, unlike Channing Tatum's Gambit, you're supposed to take Russell Crowe seriously. And sometimes the accent can make him a little distracting. I thought Calypso, played by Ariana DeBose from Wish, was a bland love interest. She's the one that saves Craven's life 2 times in this movie, but she didn't do much for me. And Chameleon, same goes with it too. He's supposed to be the brother that ends up becoming a villain that puts himself in disguises, which he does reveals that at the end of the movie when they go to their separate ways after Kraven kills his father. I thought that was a pretty interesting reveal of him officially becoming the chameleon. Though it kind of came out of nowhere too. um, and I thought the Rhino. Honestly, I thought he's kind of like the best character in the movie because the actor who plays him, seems to have a good time in some role in some of the scenes because there are some scenes where he is funny. Like there's a scene where for some reason he goes like, "Ah! Ah!" Or if I can remember it. And he does have some funny moments as a villain, especially when he has a conversation with some of the other supporting villains. Um, I thought his transformation was okay. He didn't get a lot of screen time as Rhino, probably because due to budgets and not enough time to do the reshoots. And I thought the CGI on him didn't look that good. And also, I kind of noticed that when he was one of the scenes where he was dying, his lips was not moving the way he was saying, cause it feels like it was ADR. It really does. Um, the movie is not, thankfully, not as ADR heavily compared to Madam Web, but that was a noticeable one. I thought Foreigner was okay. There was this weird power that he had that where he goes like and then he goes behind someone and kills them. That was an interesting power. I don't know much anything about the foreigner, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is a power from the comics. Um but that was a weird power, honestly. And he had some scenes there and there. And he also tried to kill Kraven with darts by hallucinating spiders. Wouldn't be su- Which of course, if you, of course, like when the spiders came out, I was like, Spider Man, Spider Man, Spider Man, and um, also the Craven origin story, brother. When the lion dropped on young Craven's body, I was like, oh no, they kept it. But Calypso also saves his life, but it seems like the lion's blood gave him like super animal abilities. And also, as we saw in the trade, as we discovered in 2022, he does have some respect for animals, as we saw in the opening where he was being nice to animals and was vengeful for some of the animals' deaths by some hunters at the opening before we get back to adult Craven. Though his respect for animals kind of decreases a bit because at one point at the beginning he eats a fish and then later wrestles with a leopard that would later kill some of the henchmen. And like Snake Eyes and Lightyear, he puts on the classic outfit at the very end of the movie. At the very, very end, what I mean, I kind of expected it to happen, but it was kind of a letdown too, because I that's the main thing. Focus, we wanted to see Kraven in his classic outfit, but we didn't get that until the very, very end. I did some Google and there was no post credit scene, so I didn't miss anything. Though there was some shots in the trailer where Craven a classic suit that didn't see in the ending, so I'm kind of feel worried about that if I missed a mid credit scene or something, but I don't know. And I thought the story overall was kind of whatever. The story is kind of bland and nothing. Um, and I really thought overall, Craven the Hunter, save for the action, the movies are movie making his movie R rated made it not as different from the other movies. It's still kind of a letdown, and it kind of is, honestly. And I can kind of see why there's a lot of people would hate this movie. But they will have a good time with the action. And I would watch this over Morbius or Madam Web, Fantastic, Howard the Duck, and the Kim Possible 2019 movie, and the Crow remake. But still not the best work that J.C. Chandler could have done. So I would give this movie probably a 2.5 out of 5. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Craven the Hunter movie? Let me know in comments below your thoughts on it. Peace out. Bye.